Today we are very excited. We have a very distinguished guest, our newest member of our advisory board, Tim Musch. Tim, welcome and thank you for taking some time out of your busy day.
Oh, happy to be here, Greg. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, we're very excited about you joining our advisory board for a number of reasons. But at the very core of it, I mean, if you talk to anybody that knows you or anybody that knows anything about the industry, very humbly, you are a legend within this industry, and you're truly one of the good guys. You're always looking to help others out, and as a result, you've influenced the industry quite a bit, and you've helped change a lot of leaders' lives for the better. So we hold our advisory board in really the highest regard possible, and we reserve the spots for people who help influence, innovate, improve the integrity of the industry. So that's why, we offer you a spot, and even more so, that's why we're thrilled that you accepted it. So kind of without further ado, would you mind, Tim, maybe for the couple people, maybe the newer guys to the industry or gals that don't know you, would you mind introducing yourself and kind of a little bit of your history with maybe Marketsharp as well as your role with Paradigm?
Yeah, happy to, Greg. I think it all started maybe back in early to mid 80s. Back then in the retail window business, great business, as we all know. And I'll try to make this short. But what happened is in about 1984, there was a Super Bowl like there is every year. And that particular Super Bowl is noted for one thing other than who won the Super Bowl, which I think was the Washington Redskins. I think they played the Oakland Raiders. But what that Super Bowl is known for is the iconic Macintosh introduction commercial. You ever seen that, Greg?
I don't think I have, actually.
Yeah, after this call, you should Google that.
All right.
Because it really is one of the most iconic TV commercials ever. And here I am watching the Super Bowl. And of course, everybody watching the Super Bowl is interested in commercials. So that one comes on and I go, what the heck is that? It just really impacted me. I don't know why, but I said, whatever that is that they just talked about likely could change the world. And sure enough, it did. That kind of got planted in the back of my mind for a number of years. I kept going in the retail business and doing fine, and it was fun and all that. But then one day, a few years later, I thought, you know what? I'm going to get one of these computers and try to figure out how to make it help us in our business. So I went down and bought a little 9-inch black and white Macintosh computer. And at that time, I kind of bought it, Greg, just to help me create newspaper ads, yellow page ads, and things such as that, because that's what marketing was back then. But it had a programming language in it. And I had never turned a computer on, knew nothing about them, but it had a tutorial with it. And it said, do this. And I said, okay, I'll give this a try. It said on line 1, type in the words on mouse up, which I did. And then it said hit return. And then on line 2, it said type the word beep, which I did. Line 3 said type the words end mouse up, which I did. And I looked at that and I says, gosh, I think I know what might happen if I click this mouse. I clicked the mouse, sure enough, the computer beeped. And I went, oh my God, is this easy to create things with computers? So from that point on, I got interested in that programming language, fiddled with it, learned it. Took about 4 or 5 years. But within that period, I ended up creating what's now known as a CRM. Back then, those letters weren't even put together. And it really helped us in our business. And one day, a window supplier from Minneapolis came in and said, what's that? And I said, well, that's a computer. Back then, not many people had them. He says, what does it do? So I showed him. He says, gosh, would you show my boss this? I said, I guess. So up to Minneapolis I go and show his boss this thing. And his boss says, I got a dealer meeting coming up. You want to show this to them? And I went, okay. So I remember being in a hotel that currently is a parking lot for the Mall of America back then. And there were 100 people in the room. I had that 9-inch Macintosh computer in front of the room, no projector, nothing like that back then, talking about this. And I talked for 6 hours about this. And frankly, Greg, most people in the audience thought I was from Mars. But 8 of them raised their hand at the end of the meeting and said, can I have one of those? And I went, okay. Sure. So that started me down a different path, which became known as Marketsharp, the CRM for our industry. And spent 25 years doing that, having a blast, kind of, hopefully leading the industry with technology to accept things like that. And stuck with that for a number of years. Great time with that. And then a company in Wisconsin called Paradigm. I got wind of what they were doing, liked what they were doing. I says, you know what? I'm going to kind of join Paradigm and see what I can do to help those folks because they're doing some pretty cool stuff. So that's a little bit of history of how we got to this point, Greg. It started with me in the window business looking for solutions, just like a lot of us do.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. At Power 100, one of our key focuses is always innovation. Because if you're not innovating, the reality in business is if you're not innovating and moving forward, you're losing ground to somebody else that is, right? And so you really had the opportunity to pave the way for those first folks, to help them grow at a faster rate than they were used to because they were able to pick up efficiencies.